Well, hey everybody, I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to As Above, So Below, a rune and tarot divination from Monday, the first day of July, 2024. Well, it's a new month. We have a few things happening this week, a couple things tomorrow. Neptune goes retrograde, also Mercury enters Leo. With Neptune's one of those dreamy planets, that where you're kind of I mean, you can have discernment issues and things like that. This might be a good time during Neptune retrograde to make sure that's not happening. You want to reevaluate whether or not you see things correctly, or are you seeing them, through rose-colored glasses or something, and that would be a discernment issue, really. Are you seeing your life situations and relationships as they are, or are you just basically deluding yourself about it? And I mean, self-delusion happens. You think you're on the right track, and maybe you're seeing somebody, for example, the way you need to see them instead of how they are. And so that's where boundaries can be affected, and being allowing yourself to be deluded by what you want versus what actually is. And so when Neptune goes retrograde, it really gives you a chance to do that, to look at things that way and just see, how am I, just really check in with yourself and say, how am I seeing this person, or how am I seeing this situation, or and theoretically it's probably more situational, than long-term life issues. But on the other hand, maybe you're somebody that's never really seen things the way you say. All your friends will say, oh, well, why, what is going on here? This person's not good for you. And they all say it, but you don't believe them, and you don't want to listen, and you don't see anything that they see. Well, that's the clear moment where you need to stop and say, maybe I'm not seeing things correctly. So this period of time just gives you a chance to do that. Mercury entering Leo. Let's see, what did I put down here? You're going to be exploring new ideas and gaining knowledge, getting additional education or training, maybe, just expanding that kind of stuff for you, and in terms of your career, or maybe just in the kinds of things you want to be thinking about, you want to learn more about. So it kind of gives you a chance. When Mercury's in Leo, it gives you the energy to do that. So I guess that's it for the stuff for the week. That little housekeeping things. Anyhow, let's take a look at the rune for today. On the higher self side, the above side, we have Uruz. And Uruz is the second rune of the Elder Futhark. It means the oryx. When did we have this last? It was last week, I thought. Yeah, I think it was on Thursday. Looks like my autocorrect corrected it into something else, but that would have been Uruz. Anyway, I don't know. Again, though, it's about energy shaping matter. It's about the primal forming essence. It can have to do with health issues. It can have to do with healing, endurance. It looks like the aurochs, which is a very large bull-like creature. And so just remember, it's about how you manifest. Are you conscious of that? Are you conscious that you're the one behind your actions? Are you the one that's behind the manifesting that you do in life? And you are. And we can believe that we're giving it away to other people, but there's your choice. There's your manifestation. You're still manifesting. You're just handing it off to someone else, basically, giving that control to others. But the manifestation from your point is the choice to do that. So what are you manifesting, and are you using the soul to do that, or is it all ego-based? Let's see here. The cottonwood is just really heavy out there right now. Fortunately, I don't have as many cottonwood trees because we've cut quite a few of them down, or they've fallen down just in the last year. That's been so much fun. But because we're still not done cleaning it up, because we got a couple that have fallen in the pond, and we haven't gotten those out yet, but that's going to have to take some extra time, I think, for us to get that done. Let's see. On the below side of things, we have Fortuna Minor. What did we have on Thursday? Oh, it was Fortuna Major. Oh, that's just really interesting. I was saying on Thursday rather of last week when we had this, um, that the idea of how this would manifest, how Urus would manifest with Fortuna Minor would be different than with Fortuna Major. So of course that's what we have. We have Fortuna Minor. Whereas major is about the ego, it's about success, the overall success. Fortuna minor is more about the progressive side of things. And so how you get there, the process you take to get there, to become successful. And so again, the process in terms of your own manifestation today is gonna be important. It's not so much the final outcome as it is, if especially like if you're collaborating with other people, if there's others involved in this, then how that works matters. That's going to be a factor in it. So let's take a look though at the cards and see what they have to say. I've done some shuffling already to get ready for the reading. Let's just do a little bit more and see what they have to say. When I'll cut the deck and take the lower half, and then I'll take 3 cards. If I need more, I'll take them, but generally most of the time I only take 1 more. But if I need them, I'll take 2 more, but generally no more than 5. I don't think I've ever had any more than 5, and 5 is rare. So here we have an interesting corollary here with the Magician and Urus in terms of manifestation. You know, here we have card 1 of the major arcana. You see the Magician assuming the as above so below stance there, with 1 arm to spirit and 1 arm toward earth. You see the abundance, the lilies and the roses around him. You see his tools on the table. He's got, it looks like I think it's a serpent type of a belt around here. That's what it looks like to me. It kind of an Ouroboros type of thing. You know, where the serpent-like creature, it could be a salamander, it could be a snake, whatever. I've seen it both ways. But where it creates a circle and it grabs its tail. Well, that's also a sense of eternity. We also have the figure 8 above, the lemniscate above his head, the same sort of thing. And bringing eternity, that higher awareness, the soul's presence, into form, invoking that into form. But anyway, the tools here on the table, they have to do with the 4 elements as well as the 4 suits of the tarot. So then we have the Ace of Swords. Here we have anytime you see the aces of the Rider-Waite, they're always going to be a hand reaching out from a cloud, holding one of the magician's tools, representing one of the suits, correct? In this case, it's the air element and swords. The Ace of Swords, we see a sword going straight up and down, piercing a crown, which is generally thought to be higher awareness or heaven or spirit. You see a palm frond off the side here hanging, and you see an olive branch here. You see some energy here with and also energy emitting from the hand. So it's essentially the unseen hand of spirit. Swords is again the air element, and so that's our intellect and anything to do with that. It could be communication, it could be truth, justice, deception, and again, communication, interactions with others. And it's essentially the genesis of that. What form is that going to take? And so if you're manifesting here with the Magician, which again aligns with Urus, and you have also the idea of progressive success here, or the progress along the way, or the steps taken, this is going to have to do with interactions with people. So whether it's in terms of collaboration or interacting with people that you need to help you with whatever this is, whatever that ends up looking like for you, the Ace of Swords is suggesting that what we're going to be manifesting has to do with how we communicate. It also has to do with integrity, maybe justice, fairness, balance, also keywords for the air element and for swords. But what is that process you take? Are you going to have free and unfettered interactions with people, or are you going to have people maybe holding back? and preventing the best process you could possibly have, right? You throwing everything out on the table. Maybe some people might feel like they can't express themselves because some of the voices in the group are a little too loud and they don't really seem to feel like there's any room for their opinions. So you want to make sure that that process respects everybody's opinions and what they have to offer. Whether or not, what they're saying is adopted or not, they still have to feel like what they have to offer matters. And so when you're manifesting this new, whatever this path is you're on, whatever project you're working on, if this is at work or whatever you're doing, maybe making plans with friends or plans with family, everyone's got to have a voice in the process. From there, it's just, you just be mindful of what that looks like and understand that at any given moment, something could go awry and you need to stop and you need to take a look at it and evaluate, okay, where did this go wrong? Where's the challenge? Where's the obstacle? What's keeping us from continuing to move forward, and let's resolve that. And again, it has to do with interactions with one another so that you keep the lines of communication open, that there's no deception, there's no dishonesty, there's no desire for anybody to control the outcome other than just the truth and what's going to work to be what controls the outcome or the choice that gets made. This is an interesting card. It looks bad, but it's not. I don't think anyway. Here you have a woman who's bound and blindfolded. You have 8 swords around her. Now, to me, this goes one of two ways. Either she is trying to turn off the noise around her and the influence around her so that she can come to her own, view of something. She can make her own decision of something. Or she's being oppressed by others. Okay, here she takes control by shutting everything off, in a sense, in any type of interaction from what's around her, she's controlling that. But on the other side of the coin, it could be that there's a lot of voices trying to control. So in my view, and also with the 8, and generally speaking, why I think it's more so she's turning off the noise, is because of the 8 numerology of the cards with the 8 of Swords. Essentially, this is going to take some inner strength on her part to not listen to everything. She's heard enough. She doesn't need to hear any more. And now she's going to come to a decision on her own. But if that's the case, then it sort of shifts this idea of progressive success away possibly from the idea of something collaborative and more into an area of how do you as an individual progress in a particular thing? You're going to draw in higher awareness when you manifest with both the Magician and Uruz. And the idea of the progressive success of it all, let me look at one more thing here and see if there's something on Fortuna Minor that I'm forgetting. Outer assistance. That would be the only other thing that I didn't mention here in terms of Fortuna Minor. Fortuna Major would be inner assistance, thinking that you know it all. That could be the downside of that. But here with the 8 of Swords, if this is an individual kind of a thing, an individual type of progression, then maybe there's just too much noise around you and you need to go within and access higher self, which in a sense might be outer assistance, but I don't think so. I think we need one more card here to really know what's going on, to see if we can find out more. It's almost like there's either something missing between the 8 of Swords and the Ace of Swords, or something. But we have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 for the numerology. We have, 2 for Uruz, 2, 3, 4, and 8 is 12. So that's actually a 3 numerology. Again, that's integration, so I don't know if this has to do with outer assistance or not. but it's like you've heard enough and now you got to go somewhere else. It might be thinking about it that way, and get what you need from somewhere else, some kind of advice. I'm going to take the 13th card. Well, yeah, I mean, here you have the Knight of Swords. We really have a run on swords here, other than the Magician, and I mean, you see swords within that particular card. So, in a sense, all 4 cards are swords cards. And so, again, you could be getting faulty advice here. That could be all of the swords around here. And so she's turning that off and she's not going to look at it anymore. And it takes a lot of inner strength to walk away from something like that. Because especially if everybody's barking at you and saying, well, no, what I think is this and I think is that. It's like nobody's integrating with that. It's just all individual, ideas that are all coming in at her, and she doesn't want to hear it. You see that in the Eight of Wands, where you see all these staffs coming in. So there's a sense of feeling overwhelmed with that. So that may be what she is. She's just overwhelmed and she needs to seek out counsel another way. And so there, you're basically looking at the Knight of Swords, who comes in a hurry. He's coming in, his steed is galloping into the scene against the wind, all right? So maybe going against the grain of what's being said here. And so she needs something else that's totally different to give her a different perspective. The knights are always helpful. Well, not always helpful. Depends on if they're ill-dignified, but they're helpful. They're somebody that's there on a quest. They're there to express themselves in a way that's powerful and dynamic. You can see him, you see the wind blowing the trees toward him. So it's almost like he's cutting through the illusion that the clouds have provided, that's blocking clarity, essentially. And he's cutting through them with his sword to cause them to dissipate. His energy alone causes them to dissipate. And so whatever lack of clarity she might be having here because she feels overwhelmed, maybe that's resolved by the knight. By seeking outer assistance, that is part of the keywords here in the interpretation of Fortuna Minor, to seek that outer assistance, and it could just be in the form of the knight who's willing to think outside the box. Maybe this is she feels inside the box here, with the because you can see that it doesn't come around all the way and meet, but literally she's encased in these swords. And so there's a sense maybe of feeling trapped by all of this stuff and all these expectations and all of these things that people are offering, and now maybe she feels compelled to have to do them all, and it's not going to serve her well. It's not so it's going to interfere with the process that she's taking. So let's just start back over here and read the whole thing as just a whole story. We have manifestation from a higher perspective with Urus. We're thinking about things in a progressive manner, possibly with the idea of asking for outside assistance if necessary. The Magician manifests all of that into physical reality. The Ace of Swords then decides, well, okay, part of this that needs to, and because we have swords for 3 more cards here, we have a run on that. So we know that this is absolutely about intellect and about everything air element related, where we're talking about fairness and balance and truth and deception and justice and integrated interactions with people. And that's something that needs to happen with the ace. That's the genesis of it, that's the direction she needs to go. But then she finds along the way she's got to rethink things because she's feeling trapped by a lot of input from others that's not making a whole lot of sense to her. So in the process, she shuts all that off. It takes inner strength to do that. And then we have the knight who comes in and is offering maybe a solution, an idea that's outside the box, essentially, that isn't this is something that she doesn't feel trapped by or beholden to incorporate into what she's doing when she just doesn't feel like it's the right thing to do. So today, if you're going to be, or over the next few days, if you're going to be manifesting something, think about the idea phase of it. Think about the expression, the self-expression of it. And think about, as people are giving you ideas, or maybe you're in a group, maybe you're not, maybe these are people that are just getting in the middle of things and it's not their business to do so. But even if that's not the case and you are collaborating with other people, it just doesn't seem like you're getting anywhere. Or it just could be that there are people around you that are trying to impose their own ideas on you, and because there's just a feeling of that here. You're trying to get to begin something, a new path maybe, or a new project or a new opportunity, and you're trying to figure it out, and how are you going to manifest this? How are you going to make this happen? You're the one shaping the experience. Remember, with Urus, the idea of energy shaping matter. You're the one doing that. And it may be that there's just too much coming in on you, and you need to have the inner strength to say, okay, thanks a lot. I'm gonna go back to my desk now, or whatever it is. I'm gonna return to my little place over here, and then you're gonna pick up the phone and you're gonna call the Knight of Swords and say, "Hey, I'm working through something here. I need to know if I'm on the right track, and I need to have someone with experience who's willing to share what they want to share and help me out a little bit here and give me a different perspective." And you know that this person is somebody that's known for their unique perspectives and thinking outside the box on one thing or another. So that's probably going to be what you need to do, especially if you end up feeling trapped by maybe obligation or feelings of obligation to other people that are telling you what they think you should do. Ultimately, it's going to take somebody with a lot of confidence and they don't care what other people think, right? The Knight doesn't care. It's like, okay, here's what I think. And it may be something totally out of the box, totally unique that you never thought, it never even occurred to you. And that could be your solution to keep you on track today. But it's going to take some inner strength, I think, if you do have a bunch of people talking at you, to just turn that off and say, okay, I thank you so much, and then make your exit, so that you can go and talk to somebody else that's a little, maybe somebody that you wouldn't have thought of before. But on the other hand, they might have something to say that really opens the door for you. So don't be afraid to do that if that's the case. Again, you're the one shaping your reality here. You're the one that's shaping this new project, this new path, this new endeavor, this new opportunity to make that work for you. And remember, it's the process that you take. So don't be thinking solely about the end result or the outcome. I mean, you have a goal of wanting one thing or another to happen, but don't be so focused on that you miss the minutia along the way, or the people that are, kind of pushing their ideas on you, and they're really not what you're looking for, And so in that respect, then you're going to find somebody that, maybe is unexpected, maybe who you've never known before, but suddenly you meet them and it's like, oh, let me ask you what you think about this. And do you have an idea? Because I've kind of run into a roadblock here and I'm not sure what direction to take. You might be surprised, and it might open the exact door you're looking for to finish what you're doing. So anyhow, I think that's it. I don't think we need a fifth card. I think we're good with the 4. But it's kind of interesting, that we have such a huge run on swords here today. That's also interesting. So, anyhow, thanks for watching. Check out the blog, Stepping Aside, over at imsteppingaside.com. Everything's up for the week. I'll post this up there as well. If you like reading over on Medium or Patreon or Substack, I also write over there. And this stuff will all get posted over there too on those sites, as well as on the my own website. But check out Stepping Aside. I'd love you to do that. And I'd love you to click subscribe here if you haven't yet. And come back again on Thursday for another edition of As Above, So Below. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.